What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today, joined by my co-host, Colin Alcabes. The NHL draft has come and gone. We're here to break down not all of the picks that the Rangers made, but three of them that we really like. As you guys can tell by the sound of my voice, I'm a little sick, so it might be a shorter video. Colin might be doing most of the heavy lifting here, but you guys know how the intro goes. Colin, how you doing today?
I'm good. I was excited about the draft. I'm more excited for free agency, which I believe starts tomorrow, or maybe today by the time this video is posted. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But a lot of exciting things coming in and out, a lot of moving parts all the way around the league today. I mean, right before we started recording, Marner signed or got traded to the Golden Knights. Marchand signed. Bouchard signed. Ekblad signed. So there's a lot of things happening around the league right now. But I'm here to talk about. We are here to talk about the Rangers and the picks that they made in this past draft, and how I think they hit on a couple slam dunks even later in this draft, even though they didn't own it first.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate we didn't own it first, but we got JT Miller out of it. It's fine. I feel like the Penguins kind of blew their draft too. So just seeing what they did compared to what we probably would have done, it's whatever. It's fine. But I'll go ahead and introduce the first guy. He was our second round draft pick, 43rd overall. It was the only pick I actually managed to watch be drafted live on television, because that was the only person I was alive for before I started dying in my bed. And he's a left winger, Malcolm Spence. He played for the Erie Otters, which, as some of you may know, there have been a handful of phenomenal NHL players that have come out of Erie. First and foremost, Connor McDavid, Matthew Schaefer, who went first overall, another Otter. So it's a team that had a lot of potential, developing prospects. Hopefully the Rangers don't mess this one up. I think ultimately people will look at this position, see left wing, and be like, why? That's like the one position we don't need at the moment. But keep in mind, by the time this kid's ready to go in the NHL, this team's going to look so much different. So I wouldn't let that shock you. But I like the pick. It's definitely the pick that I'm most familiar with. But I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. I know he was supposed to be a late first rounder, kind of fell a little bit into the second round. So another steal for the Rangers in the most recent years. So I'm cool with it. I like it, but let me rest. You go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love the pick. I think it's tough because obviously, like you said, a lot of people see left wing. Wingers can go back and forth. It's very fluid. It's a fluid position. It's not like a center or a winger trying to play the center. Center's a lot more defense, whereas the wingers, they're a little bit more interchangeable. So, at this point, when you're picking in the second round and a guy who was a projected first round talent falls to you, you just take the best available. You're just trying to hit at that point. And then if he does pan out and you do like your left wings and he's like, I'm not playing right wing, then you flip him if he's a really good prospect. It's just about hitting, especially when you're picking later in the draft. I really like this pick for the Rangers. I think, he's got serious potential. I'm just looking at his stats here. His last 3 years with the Otters, 42 points in 64 games in his first season, 62 and 66 in his second, and 73 and 65 in his third, with that final season, 32 goals, 41 assists. So he's a well-balanced player. He's a plus 10, 9 points in 9 playoff games for the Otters as well, and he was an assistant captain. So he shows a little bit of leadership quality while also being able to put up on the score sheet. And he's going into his freshman year at the University of Michigan. So if you're looking to keep up with him, you got to look for him there. And he also does have some big game experience and a couple clutch goals. He has a gold medal goal for Canada. I believe it was in the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. I think it was over. I don't remember. I just saw the clip today, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so I don't want to put any incorrect information out there. But he does have some clutch goals, so hopefully that's something that he can bring as well. Between the leadership qualities, the high pointage and the clutchness, I like this pick a lot, especially at 43. You basically got a first round talent in the second round, and while keeping next year's first round pick, which I think will be better no matter what, just because, like we said, it's a deeper draft. So we're able to turn a not so deep draft into a deep draft for us and hit on a pick, in my opinion, while also keeping next year's pick. I think it's a slam dunk by Drury.
Yeah, like I said, I like the pick. I know the next two players that we're going to talk about from this year's draft are both defensemen. You are more familiar with it. I'm in the process of shedding the inner linings of my throat, so I'm just going to let you handle it, and I'll just give a brief opinion at the end.
Yeah, so the next player we're going to talk about is Barnhill, Sean Barnhill. He was our third-round pick. I like the size on him. I think that he's a big dude, 6'5", 214. He carries himself well. Just another solid prospect to add to the D pool. I feel like our defensive pool is very, very low right now. Obviously, we have EJ Emery and maybe Fortescue. We don't really know what Matthew Robertson is yet, so it's tough to kind of speak on it. But I like what I'm seeing from him. He doesn't not a guy who puts up a lot of points, but his plus minus does look solid, and that's kind of what you're looking for mainly from a defenseman. He's about to start his freshman year as well at Northeastern University. I don't have as much on him as I do on Malcolm Spence. But I just think that if you look at the Rangers draft this year, I mean, they took a lot of defensemen. And I think that that's smart. I think obviously him just being the next pick for me is what makes him, and the size, love the size. But he's a little too raw to see. Like, he's not playing on any of the like the league teams. He didn't play in the Lincoln Gretzky Cup. He's not playing for any of the world's teams. So not as much to kind of study up on when it comes to him. But I am excited to see what he can become. I'm definitely planning on watching, or at least keeping up with his stats at Northeastern. And he's another intriguing prospect to definitely keep an eye on in this draft.
All I'll say is big defenseman. I like it. You touched upon it briefly. The amount of defensive prospects we have in our system is not many. You named the only handful that I could name. And then after that, I wouldn't be able to name a single other defensive prospect in our system. So just to see more be added to the pool, I have to support it. Even if it is a later round talent, we've seen teams get some gems in the late parts of the draft before. It can happen again. It's less likely, but don't lose hope just because you see the number he was picked at. Big defenseman could be a great, solid physical defenseman in the future. Guess we'll have to just wait and see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, and then the last one we're going to talk about here is Evan Passmore. Now, I know it's a sixth-round pick.
The most Rangers name of all time. We don't need to pass more. We need to shoot more.
He's an intriguing prospect. I've seen a lot of people actually be very happy with this pick, and I am as well. Another defenseman, 6'5", 212. He's a beast. He's a big boy. And the main part of his game that everybody loves so much is his reach. He's, like I said, he's massive, but he understands, the range that he has with his poke checks and everything, and he's very good at cutting off, taking the right angles and the proper positioning to keep guys to the outside is basically what I've seen a lot of when I was, reading up on him quick. Right now playing for the Barrie Colts. I think he's in his second season is what it looks like. Again, not a guy who's going to put up a lot of points, but, a guy that you can hopefully trust down the line will turn into, a serviceable NHL defense. When you're talking sixth-round pick, obviously you're not thinking, first top pairing guy. But you could definitely see a guy of his stature, if he can develop well, becoming a middle pair to a bottom four guy, I should say, when it comes to the D pairs. But I could see him slotting in very, very easily on either pair if he continues on the progress that he's on, and the path that he's on with the size. That's the biggest part. I mean, between the two defensemen that I've mentioned, if you look at teams that win cups with massive D-men, it's just you have to have a solid sized D-core in order to keep guys out and win those net front battles and be able to clear the path for the goal to see the puck. And I think adding 2 6'5" defensemen is definitely going to benefit the Rangers down the line, assuming they both develop into the players that they're supposed to, like I said. But there's a lot of things that could happen, obviously. And again, like I said, a 6th-round pick, it definitely is a bit of a reach to say he's going to be an NHLer. But he's an intriguing pick in my eyes. I think that, based on what I've seen and what I've read, a lot of people are happy with this pick, and I am as well. So,
yeah, one thing that I noticed as you were just speaking, I was looking at the full list of picks the Rangers made, because obviously we're not talking about all of them, but the Rangers made 8 draft picks this year, and out of those 8, 5 of them were defensemen. So I like the direction Chris Drury was heading. I like where his brain was at, and obviously, I don't think every single one of them is going to pan out into an NHL star, but hopefully, if we do something right, at least a couple of them will, and we'll have a pretty solid defensive core in the years to come, as well as the forwards that we drafted too. Obviously, we talked about Spence. Hope he works out as well. But that about wraps up our recap of the 2025 NHL draft. Free agency does start tomorrow. I know, Colin, you posed it as a question earlier. I think I will upload this video today. I think I can fight through the medicine telling me to go to bed long enough to get this video up. But as long as I feel like 2% better, I should be around to have live coverage of NHL free agency. If not, obviously me and Colin will be back within the near future to break down all the signings the Rangers make, any players we might lose, because that's what it seems like is going to happen at this point. But thank you all for watching. My throat hurts. You guys know how the outro goes. Have a good one. And
let's go Rangers.